Matt Rule in Nebraska. So they just had a massive recruiting weekend this past weekend, hosting several recruits in the class of 2026. And in doing so, Matt Rule had a giant bowl in the Cornhuskers weight room. Now, Tony, I wanted to just ask you, let's preview their season. Going into the season, they got Dylan Raiola at quarterback. He played as a true freshman last season, up and down season for sure. But nonetheless, I think I'm optimistic, at least headed into his second season. I'm really excited to see. Let me ask you, how do you feel about Nebraska so far? And give us a preview of their 2025 team.
Yeah, I think one of the things you got to do if you're a Nebraska fan is understand where you are, understand your place in the college football world. I was one of those people years ago. It's funny, you were talking about what college football was for you 6 years ago. Imagine an old guy like me and what college football was, decades ago, right? And you look back, and Nebraska likely made a mistake going to the Big Ten. I think, that's been discussed a lot. They probably would have fared better staying in the Big 8/Big 12. But the money was compelling, right? I mean, let's be reality. That's where college football is. That's what's caused all the sea change of realignment. And that's what's going to cause the soon to come new realignment in about 4 to 5 years when the TV contracts get renewed all over again. And there's another push for this. Nebraska is doing fine. They're not doing great, but they're doing fine. I mean, Matt Rule is 12-13 after his 2 seasons there. He was 7-6 last season, so a significant jump last season, but was only 3-6 in the Big Ten. And there comes the complexity if you're in Nebraska, because you can be a good team. A good team right now for Nebraska means a 9-win season and a second-tier bowl game, right? You're not at the level of Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Washington, Oregon, whatever the case may be in the Big Ten. That's okay. You don't have to be the Nebraska of Tom Osborne back in the day. You're not. It's a different complexion to college football. You got the bowl win. Yeah, it was a pinstripe bowl. But hey, if you're in Nebraska, year 2 of the Matt Rule era, you're happy that you got a bowl win, right? Because look, he was a struggling entity coming into Nebraska. He got run out of Carolina, with the Panthers head coaching job. It was pretty ugly. And I'll tell you, having moved, I guess, a little over 3 years ago now from Los Angeles out to Charlotte, I can tell you that the Panthers fans still find Matt Rule to be an easy target. And it's kind of unfair. It's like, move on, guys, because he's at Nebraska. He's doing well. He had the 20th ranked recruiting class for the upcoming season for 2025, and the 13th ranked portal class. Hey, that's not bad, man. Coming off a 17-6 season, that means the guy is working it. He's working hard.
Yeah.
He's already, of course, like most programs, moved on to the 2026 recruiting class. He's getting a little kitschy with a bowl in the workout room and doing that kind of stuff. But you know what? If you're him, there is no limit to what you aren't willing to throw out there, right? You're throwing everything but the kitchen sink out there.
Exactly.
Because it is a hyper-competitive recruiting field. It's a hyper-competitive portal landscape. You've got the changes coming up with the revenue sharing for players. Clearly, if you're Nebraska, you're going to put a large chunk of that $20.3 million into your football program, because that is what makes Nebraska what it is.
Exactly.
He's got in the upcoming season. I mean, he's got 17 players out of the transfer portal. He got some big guys. And I talk about the 2025 class a little bit because that's what helps sell the 2026 class, right?
Right.
You get a guy like Rocco Spindler from Notre Dame, or you get a guy like Hassan McCullough from Oklahoma. These are big-time programs. They're outstanding players, highly recruited players. The fact that you pulled them in after the season you had, that helps sell your 2026 class. he's only got 8 hard commits for 2026. So there's a lot of work to do. But I think probably, and you mentioned the calendar, we're nearing the end of June. Once you
Mhm.
get into July, you start conference media days. You get the Big
Yeah.
Ten media days, and Big Ten media days this year is in Las Vegas, which is going to have a strange feel to it.
Oh
Um,
boy.
but you get the SEC media days in Atlanta and the ACC here in Charlotte, and then training camp starts right after that. So these last, what is it, 7 days of June are really a closing time for that 2026 class, at least until you get, you'll have a little bit of time in July, and then August, man, you're in camp, the season's on, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to close hard, and I think that that's why you look at what he did. He had, like you said, a huge number of recruits in this last weekend.
Mhm.
I'm looking at easily, I think 5 to 6 guys that probably commit within the next handful of days.
Yeah.
Probably even before we get to the end of this week. Um, and he's already got guys like Rex Waterman and Hayden Ainsworth. He's got some good guys up front. So he's really done a good job with the offensive line. You mentioned Dylan Raiola. I expect a lot more out of Dylan as a sophomore. He went through the freshman bumps that all freshman quarterbacks do. But, they've got the entire Raiola family there, right? They've got his
That's
younger
true.
brother coming in. They've got
A
his
line
dad
coach.
there on the staff. I mean,
Mhm.
they've made it about as comfortable of an atmosphere as you could make for him. They've got a tight end also coming in, Luke Sorensen, who I expect
Mhm.
big things from, kid from Servite down in Southern California.
Mm.
Really, I've seen the film on this kid. Really good tight end, going to be a good outlet for Raiola. So I think that there's a lot of momentum for Nebraska, for Matt Rule. I'm just kind of guiding Nebraska fans. Don't get over your skis.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
realistic. Don't get over your skis. But if you can pull off another 2 wins this year, improve on the conference record, get to maybe a second tier bowl game, man, you're moving. You're going.
Yeah, absolutely. And taking away from what you said, I mean, I'm a big fan of Coach Rule. I think he's a winner. I
Mhm.
think he's a college
I do too.
coach. I think him
I
going
do
to
too.
the Panthers showed that. I mean, going back to his, winning time at Temple, Baylor, he's a
Mhm.
winner. Like at the end of the day, and I think he's working on turning around the Nebraska program. I think landing Dylan Raiola, such a prominent 5-star, recruit going to Nebraska at
Absolutely.
that time. I think that played a huge part. I know, he had kind of ups and downs last season, like you and I mentioned, but
Mhm.
I expect him to really step up this season. And like you mentioned, Nebraska, success for them is 9 wins. If they don't get to that, Cornhusker fans, I think, are going to be really frustrated. Let me ask you, how do you expect them to fare in the Big Ten?
I'm looking at probably 2 to 3 more wins. If you can
Mhm.
get to 5 wins, if you can get to 6-6,
Right.
and have that kind of season. But if you can pull off another couple of wins in the Big Ten, then I think you're fine. I think you're doing fine.
Mhm.
The schedule does well for them this year. It's a little look. The Big Ten schedule. I know everyone talks about the SEC and the gauntlet of the schedule. Hey man, the
Yeah.
Big Ten is no walk in the park, right?
True. Yeah.
Because even the overlooked schools, even the Minnesotas, even the Purdue's can come in and slap you around a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not playing Rutgers and Maryland every week. There's a lot of good teams in the Big Ten. So I think if he can get a couple more wins there, then you wind up what does that put you 5-4 in the
Mhm.
conference? I think you've done well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And before we move on to another team, I wanted to go ahead and show Dylan Raiola
Mhm.
kind of talking about this past weekend, this recruiting weekend, and having a large bowl in the weight room. Take a look.
Exciting things happening in Lincoln this week. We saw a photo shoot you guys had. You brought a live bull in to the weight room. Can you tell us what that was about?
I was so worried about the bull using the bathroom in the weight room because it was brand new weight room. I'm like, Coach, we can't have a bull in here, but it was cool. And the craziest part was I saw Coach Rowe get on top of it. I thought we were just going to stand next to it and take a picture, but he got on top. I was like, all right, that's fine. Let's do it.
Whose idea was it?
I think it was Coach Rule and one of the other people in the department.
Hey, I'm with the Coach Rule. You got it all. You got to do all you can in Nebraska. Got to compete in Big Ten, tough conference.
But you notice what stood out to me was he wasn't worried about the bull charging anyone. He wasn't worried about the bull's horns. He's worried about the bull going to the bathroom in there.
Interesting, Raiola.